Good evening and welcome. We are so excited to have you join us this evening to hear a little bit more about what virtual pride means. Over the past couple of months, you've seen a little bit of information, you've seen some teasers, but we've officially unveiled how the full week and weekend of programming is going to look. And we're excited to spend 10-15 minutes with y'all this evening telling you a little bit more about that, as well as answering any questions that you have. Before we get started, we'll take a moment to introduce the folks on the screen. My name is Jerry Yelton. I use they or he pronouns, and I am the Programs and Development Director for Charlotte Pride.
My name is Nada Mergani. I use they, them, and she, her pronouns, and I am the Programs Associate for Charlotte Pride.
And my name is Matt Comer. I use he, him pronouns, and I am the Communications Director for Charlotte Pride. Again, welcome to the folks who are just now joining. Thank you for joining. It's the first time that we are testing out our live streaming system that we'll be using for the virtual Pride celebrations, which you're going to learn more about in just a couple minutes. But it's the first time we're testing it across 4 different platforms tonight. So we're on supposed to be on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. So whatever platform you're watching on, or if you're watching this on replay, welcome.
Fabulous. Yeah, we're excited to broaden our stream beyond just on Facebook, as the live stream conversations we've hosted this summer have been. And this will continue to be the practice as we host other live conversations throughout the rest of the year and in the years future, including broadcast of in-person events once we're able to start hosting those again. So to give a little bit more context, as everyone knows, we unfortunately had to make the decision to cancel this year's in-person Charlotte Pride Festival and Parade because of the COVID-19 crisis. We knew that it was really important, as we've said many times, to put the health and safety of our community at the very forefront of our conversations and making sure that we were keeping people safe. But over the past few months, we've done a lot of virtual programming, had a lot of lessons learned about our weekly live streams, activities with Reel Out Charlotte, our community showcase in May, and we're excited to take some of those lessons learned, as well as some of the information from some listening sessions we've hosted with community members and our own volunteers to find a way to create a sense of pride and a pride festival and pride parade in what ways we can in the new climate that we exist. So tonight we're going to take a few minutes kind of talking through each piece of the virtual festival and parade, everything from how do you participate as an individual to what the experience is going to be like for our viewers and participants who aren't going to be on screen themselves, but still going to interact and be a part of the activities. So excited for you to hear a little bit more. If you have questions, please just drop them in the box below live. We will be happy to answer them as they come up, and we'll also leave a couple minutes at the end for any further questions. So to kick us off and talk about our Charlotte Pride scavenger hunt, I'm going to hand it to Nada.
Hi. So please ignore my dog. The Charlotte Pride scavenger hunt was kind of inspired by the concept of geocaching. So geocaching is basically like a cool international form of a scavenger hunt where people go from place to place based off like the location that their geocache machine gives them. And they find an item as well as leave an item for folks to pick up after they come. So the idea is to have pride sites, which should be like businesses, community spaces, nonprofit spaces throughout the city of Charlotte on every side. So like north side, east side, south side, and west side, with the focus of still being able to hold on to social distancing measures, because people aren't all going into one location at one time. They're going into like individual businesses at their own rate. And those businesses can still hold on to their social distancing guideline, but also people can still kind of have the same effects that come with like moving through the festival site and picking up a bunch of different like goodies from all the different businesses and still have a way to like celebrate Pride.
Yeah, It's an awesome way for folks to also dress up in their rainbow gear and go visit all of these different spaces, wear your trans flag, your ace flag, and go out to these spaces that are affirming and welcoming and take pictures. We'll be sharing the hashtags to use to get that connected in. And if you share your pictures earlier in the week, maybe you'll see them pop up in some of the later activities and events that we do throughout the rest of Pride Week. But yeah, like Nada said, it's a really cool opportunity to still bring pride to the city instead of only hosting it in conversations like tonight's.
And then it also is an opportunity for us to get closer to individual business owners who are LGBTQ identified and friendly, know what their products are, know what their names are, know where their business locations are, rather than all of us just kind of being in one congregated location in Uptown.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you have recommendations for businesses that you'd love to see participate, please drop them in the comments. We'll keep an eye on them over the next couple of days so that even our rerun watchers who drop comments can let us know folks we should reach out to. So if you have recommendations, put them below and we'll be happy to include them in the festivities.
So next up, every year, everybody loves coming to the parade. And of course, with the cancellation of in-person events, that also means we had to cancel our in-person parade. But just like our festival live stream, which you'll hear about in just a moment, we are going to do a virtual parade live stream. And we will do it on the same day at the same time that we would have had the parade in person. So that'll be Saturday, August 2nd. From 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. And we'll be, of course, broadcasting that on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and our website as well. You have a really cool opportunity this year with the virtual parade to participate. Usually in the parade, it's very difficult for us to allow individuals to be involved in the parade. If you want to march in the parade or have a float, you usually have to be with an organization. But this year is a unique opportunity for you to take a short video, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, of you dressed up in your pride gear. Maybe it's a selfie video that you took while you were out on the citywide scavenger hunt dressed up in your pride gear. You can submit that to us. The process is actually very easy. You'll just go to our website, charlottepride.org/virtual pride. And one of the first things you'll see on the website is virtual parade. You'll be able to click over to very easily take a look at some of the helpful tips and tricks and guidelines that we have for you. And once you've taken your video on your phone, you can click on this button here. This works on desktop. It works on mobile as well. And then you'll just be able to click on that. If it'll work, if it'll show. It's not showing on the screen right now for our live stream. That's okay. But once you click on that link, you'll be able to drop your video to us, and we'll be able to get it. And we're going to create these awesome montages where all diverse people from all across the city, dressed up in their pride gear, will be able to participate in the parade this year. We have a lot of helpful tips on the website, so please do go look, take a look. Make sure that you get your video into us by July 26th. If you're unable to get your video to us by July 26th, we won't be able to include you in the parade. And then Jerry, very similarly, you want to talk about the festival and parade, or festival, excuse me.
Absolutely. So as you can kind of see, the spirit of all of this is to try and bring the parts of Charlotte Pride that you know and love into a new space. So having the scavenger hunt, visiting friendly businesses and organizations, having the parade so we all get to celebrate and be visible and have a moment of unity. And we also want to find ways to bring what happens in our festival zone or on our stages in our festival zone to the screen as well. So there are a few ways that you can be a part of our 8-hour festival live stream that is going to happen on August 1st from 1 to 9 p.m. First of that is if you are an entertainer, a performer, an artist, or a speaker. So you'll go on the same site that Matt has mentioned, charlottepride.org/virtual pride, and you will click under Virtual Festival to find out how you can participate if you are a performer, a speaker, so on and so forth. Matt, will you take me over? Awesome. So nice and simple form, tells you a little bit more about it. Again, we are trying to focus on local performers and entertainers. So though we love those visitors from out of town who are coming to join us, we are not going to be able to have your videos as a part of this year. Ask just for a little bit about you, your social media handles, and your online portfolios, things like that, so we can get a little bit of a sense of who you are as a performer, and then we'll reach out and kind of let you know what's going on. But this is a really great opportunity for you, the people watching this tonight, to share with your friends that are performers, but maybe get a little bit nervous about getting up in front of an auditions room or in front of the community stage. Instead, they get to perform in the comfort of their own house or their friend's house, or maybe an open community space, and record it, give it another take or two if they didn't love how it first turned out, and they're able to, find their way in. See one of the questions asking about the deadline for speakers and artists and performers. Is it also July 26th? Yes, July 26th is also the deadline for participation as a part of the Saturday virtual festival live stream. Thank you for your question, Artie. The other component for folks to participate in the virtual festival, and this is my personal favorite part, are community spotlights. So what this means is we as an organization are willing to share the videos that you, your nonprofits, your community groups, your grassroots coalitions have put together about different things that are happening for the LGBTQ community or LGBTQ leaders in non-queer organizations who are doing good work that should be spotlighted and should be shared. Every year, my favorite part of Pride is seeing the people who are connected to therapy groups or who are connected to healthcare resources, who are able to find friends through the different sports coalitions or through other nonprofit organizations. And since we can't have that in person, this is a way for folks to show off a 1 or 2 minute video of what they do and have that as a part of our stream. If you have an organization or know of an organization that does not have the ability to put together a video but would like to be a part of this, go in this form too and submit their information. We're willing to come out and take a few minutes of one of our days, us on screen, and film a quick video spotlighting some of the resources and people doing good work in the community. And these are due a little bit sooner. These are due on Monday, July 20th. It doesn't mean necessarily that the final filming, if we are helping out with components of that, has to be done by that day, but means we need to know who we're scheduling filming with. So if you have organizations that you'd like to be a part of that, send them to this form or send their info to us. And now I'm going to hand it over to Nada to talk about some of the events that are happening in Pride Week in the lead up.
Yeah, so to speak on some of the events that we're doing for Trans Pride, Women's Pride, and Latinx Pride, as I was speaking to some of the coordinators and trying to craft this, multiple people kind of expressed this desire to do a conversation surrounding history. But a lot of times when we talk about queer history and trans history, it is this inherently like depressing and tragic thing where we focus on like the worst facets of someone's life, and we don't really focus on the beauty in their existence as young queer and trans folks. So the ideas for Trans Pride, Women's Pride, and Latinx Pride all follow into the same theme of a historical honoring of names that we should know but do not know. I've been working a little bit with Josh Burford to try and come up with these names. I'm going to be spending probably the next week and a half going through readings and books and trying to find names of incredible women in the movement, trans folks in the movement, Latinx queer folk in the movement who've done amazing things for LGBTQ liberation work. Just to give like a little sneak peek about one of the folks that we're going to be speaking about, we're going to talk about Maxine Doyle Turkins, was a trans woman who lived here in Charlotte, and she was taken to jail for having a public sexual encounter. She refused to answer to her dead name in court and just stayed silent until the judge honored her real name. And they gave her 30 years initially, But then she was tried again in front of a jury of her peers, and she was found not guilty of every single charge they tried to give her. And she was found like a victim of a hate crime as well. So that was one of the only instances in the history of this country where something like that had happened ever. So that's one of the folks we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about Stormy Delaburn. I literally am looking through my list right now. And I'm going to be reading books like Queer America by Vicki Eklor, Queer History of the United States by Michael Bronski, Susan Stryker's Transgender History. And if anybody has any other recommendations for readings or books that I can look through to try and find the names and stories, and ideally not a tragic telling of their stories, right? Like stories that tell the beauty about the work that they do and like the beauty of their lives and the beauty of their resilience. I would love recommendations for stuff like that. I really want to honor these folks' stories and make sure that my research is extremely well done and like varied. And I've done like everything that I need to make sure that I respected these people's stories. So yeah, I would love reading recommendations. I would love book recommendations. If you have a name of someone that you think could be honored in this space, like please reach out and let me know.
All right. So thank you very much, Nada, for talking about these Pride Week events that are for our Latinx, women's, and trans Pride programs. We also have other Pride Week events that will be happening as well. On July 26th, we'll have our annual Charlotte Pride Interfaith Service. This year, that will also be hosted virtually. We're going to do it in like a really unique way. Earlier in the year, before COVID-19, St. Luke's Missionary Baptist Church had already agreed to host it. They will be our virtual host, but in that 2-hour period, we're going to hop around to different locations around the city in the live stream broadcast for that as well. We'll also have an opportunity, as we do every year, for organizations in the city who are presenting their own events to submit their events to us so that we can help promote them and give people an opportunity to attend other people's events. So if you're a community nonprofit or a community organization or a community movement and you want to have a virtual Pride event of your own, maybe you want to have a teach-in, or maybe you want to have some sort of class. Maybe you could be a nonprofit that likes to do cooking classes. It could be anything. You just go to our website, charlottepride.org/virtual pride. One of the options you'll see is Pride Week events right here. And you'll just click on this link here and you'll be taken to a form. Very much like the form we've used in the past for Pride Week events. You'll just give us the information about your event, and then we'll be able to promote it. The deadline for this is a little bit earlier than the parade ones as well, just so we can get the information and get it out to the community. It's going to be July 20th for this as well. So lots and lots of ways for you to get involved. And certainly we'll have more details coming out about the scavenger hunt. For the actual scavenger hunters, that'll be coming out in the next week or two. Also coming up right now and very soon is nominations for our annual Champions of Pride Awards. The deadline for that is July 13th. So definitely be sure to hop on this website, take a look at what we're doing, and then find ways to get involved.
Fabulous. Yeah, thank you all for joining. Like we said, tonight was going to be a brief conversation, but we wanted to just take a little bit of time. We know that sometimes reading a bunch of information about how a brand new event is going to work is a little overwhelming and confusing. So we hope that we've helped to break it down just a little bit and make it a little more understandable. Anyone have any final questions before we wrap up? Please drop them in the comment box below. I'll give 20, 30 seconds just to make sure. But as we're waiting to see if any others pop up, just want to say again, thank you for your participation and enjoyment of the things that are to come. We are bringing together these events to make sure that folks are able to have fun, be visible, have important conversations about our intersections and our broad community. So we really look forward to seeing some creative, unique pieces of content coming through for the virtual parade, some cool ideas, performances, and entertainers for the virtual festival, and hopefully getting to visit some really fun spaces and new spaces that we didn't know area we're LGBTQ owned or affirming in Charlotte through our Pride sites. And as the screen now says, in addition to the programming that we're hosting from July 24th through August 2nd, please join our friends at Charlotte Black Pride July 12th through the 19th, also in an all virtual space, for their annual Charlotte Black Pride Week. That is, like I said, coming up the 12th through the 19th, and you can find more information on their social media pages or at charlotteblackpride.org. But I don't see any other questions popping up. So with that, we will say good night. And if you have further questions from here on, again, drop them in the comments if you're watching this later. We'll be happy to come back and check. You can also always reach all of us at our emails, which are simply our first names at charlottepride.org. So if you ever need anything, just let us know. And we'll see you in just a few weeks for Virtual Pride. Have a good night.
Good night.